folks, and welcome to another episode of the Positude podcast. I'm your host, Maggie Hart. Thankful to be with you here tonight to let you know that the snow is almost gone. It was totally gone, then we have 5 more inches, and now it's almost gone again. Every day is just one step closer to spring. How are you guys doing tonight? Have you got your beverage ready? Are you in your comfy clothes? Hopefully in your comfy spot in your living room? Shoes kicked off? Snacky snack on the side table or on the coffee table? I've got homemade yogurt tonight because I've been making a lot of that lately and it's really enjoyable. I just put some jelly in there for some flavor. Making homemade Greek yogurt is super easy. It takes about half hour, 45 minutes maybe to prep. And then I put it in my machine and cook it for 8 hours and then refrigerate it for 8 hours and presto. I get to enjoy something that's good for me, that's made with only a couple ingredients. Not only does it end up being a whole lot cheaper than the good stuff at the store, but it tastes absolutely amazing. And I flavor it with an assortment of things. Sometimes I'll mix a little bit of my homemade jelly in there, sometimes maybe a little honey, some fruit. Whatever suits my mood. I even give some to the puppies because it's good for them. And yes, I do it the lazy way with a little electric cooker that I have, but you can make it without any electricity and just a styrofoam cooler if you prefer. It's good to know how to make as many things as you can by hand, both with and without electric. So not only is there a sense of accomplishment and you have something delicious to share with your family, but you're learning how to do this stuff now when we have the convenience of electric. And finessing your techniques now will only serve you better in the future when things maybe aren't so convenient. Tomorrow I'm going to make some homemade bread and some muffins to go along with dinner and breakfasts for the week. And I don't know about you, but I really can't wait for garden season to be here. However, I'm thinking I might need a greenhouse or something with the chemtrails, but I'm really anxious to have some fresh tomatoes and not those rubber things they're selling us in the store from California or Mexico or wherever they're coming from that have the texture of the balls we used to play with in high school gym class. Hopefully you've all got your seeds started and if fortunate enough, a greenhouse or some sort of cover to protect what you're growing from what's fallen from the sky. For when you finally move your plants outside. Boy, that seems like forever away, doesn't it? But it is getting closer every single day, and that's something to be thankful for. I also took a bag of yams this week, peeled them, sliced them, and slow cooked them in the oven for about 3 hours to make healthy dog treats for my puppies. Sometimes I do the ones with flour and banana and peanut butter or oatmeal, but I decided to do the yams this week because I've also been focusing on my puppies' health. With all of the stuff coming down on the chemtrails, I'm trying to help them to reinforce their little bodies with good stuff and things that will help to filter the toxins out of them as well, like blueberries, some cranberries, apple cider vinegar, bananas and apples, scrambled eggs and greens, and of course some raw carrots thrown in there, and sardines in water. I buy organic whenever possible, and I peel the skins off of the apples because even though there's supposed to be quercetin in the skins and the apples, because of the chemicals, rather than soak them, I just peel them. And the little bit of ACV that I give them is raw distilled organic. And the coconut oil that I give them also a little bit of is the raw unrefined organic stuff. And I only give them the same water that I drink that goes through a decent Brita filter, the one that takes out the iron. Because let's face it, the puppies can't do foot detoxes like I do. So I try and help them to detox with what they're ingesting as best I can. And I wanted to share that with you in case you might like to try the same thing for your pets. Because if we're feeling the effects of these chemtrails, you can be certain that they are too. In fact, they're much more sensitive. So the purer that I can feed them, the better equipped their little bodies will be to help fight off stuff and to detox. The sardines are really good brain food and just an overall good thing for puppies, but it also helps with their coat, as does the coconut oil. And I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed a marked difference in my animals' coats this winter as opposed to any other, and there haven't been any major dietary changes. So it's evident to me that it's something that's coming out of the snow or the rain Probably both. Keep an eye out on that and let me know what you think. You can always email me at Maggie, MAGGIE_heart@outlook.com. Also, if there's something that you'd like for me to cover and for any of your spiritual, physical, mental, and emotional needs, get a hold of me. Let's get you fixed. Let's jump into the clippies. So I went into a late night rabbit hole the other night on this whole Epstein thing. Have you guys heard about this? I've got a triple play for you about it, but I've got 2 clippies where people saw supposedly Epstein cruising down in Florida, Miami, on one of the highways in a convertible. Once he was alone, once with a woman. And people were arguing about whether or not it was really him or not. And then some guy stepped forward who claims to be Palm Beach Pete, a realtor down in Florida, who says that it's him on the videos and that he's not Epstein. So either they faked Epstein's death just for him to live his best life with the top down in Miami, or Palm Beach Pete is really the guy. Of course, because if you're going to accidentally look like one of the most infamous people in the world, you better have a name like a retired magician. Palm Beach Pete. It sounds like a guy who sells sunscreen and sunglasses out of the back of his trunk to tourists during spring break. And while he talks a little different and the face isn't exactly right, let's think about the plastic surgery options and also the rubber mask stuff that we're seeing online. Because he's like, let me in the car, but everybody's looking at the video like, Pete, respectfully, you look exactly like him. The man didn't just resemble Epstein. He looked like Epstein's DLC skin. And you've got the internet split into these 2 groups, and Pete is just somewhere like, I just wanted to go for a spin with my hot chick in the car. Both bought and paid for. Hey, you want to buy some banana boat? Hawaiian Tropic? And then after those 2 beauties, I have another clippy of a guy dressed in the V for Vendetta mask that says it's all a psyop. I don't know which one's scarier, Guy Fawkes or Palm Beach Pete. And lovely Kathy Hochul's at it again, and now there's a light pollution law that they're trying to pass, effective in 2028. No lights after 11 o'clock at night. Not on your house, not in your yard, nothing. Everything has to be shielded. Now listen, one of the justifications for this supposedly is because it confuses the birds. Because how many birds do you know that fly at night? I know geese do seasonally, migration time, but that's about it. How about the millions of birds that they've killed in the windmills and with the 5G? That doesn't matter. Light pollution. What a joke. And if you try and tell people in New York they can't have their lights on after 11, that's not a law. That's the beginning of a horror movie. You're going to have people peeking out their windows like, did you hear something? No, because it's pitch black and everybody's scared. Also, how are we enforcing this? Are there going to be light police? Ma'am, step away from the porch light. And this is public places too. Unless there's entertainment, they'll let them leave the lights on, I guess, until after the concert or game or whatever is over. And you have to have your lights on timers to go off at 11. So we're also talking backyard party lights here, folks. And most people leave their lights on at night to deter criminals. You can't even have them flooding your driveways or flooding out into the streets. And they're using the feeble excuse on that one as far as neighbors' lights shining into your yard to respect your privacy. Seems like the only privacy they want to protect is for the crooks that are going to try and rob the homes and the stores. I don't think that's going to fly well in the big cities, especially New York. But listen to the clippy and see what you think. I can't wait to see what kind of Paul Blart Mall cop guys are going to take that job. And oh, by the way, at least they'll be saving a couple bucks on reflective tape for their uniforms. And I hope they don't give them flashlights, because wouldn't that be an invasion of my privacy and be contributing to the light pollution? Yeah, Mondami's people are going to love this one. They probably helped to think the idea up. We need to respect the rights of our criminals. He's such a brainiac, he probably thinks that bats are some sort of new species of nocturnal birds anyways. How's that even going to work when they can't get guys to shovel the snow? Oh, I know, maybe they'll bring in drones so it could be more like China, because you know that's coming too. And I got a clippy who's pleading something that I've been saying for years. Can we please go back to calling people? I really felt that one, because texting has destroyed communication. You text someone, hey, are you free? 3 hours later, yeah, what's up? Well, now I'm not free anymore. I've aged. I have a new personality. We used to call. You had to face the energy immediately. Now texting is like just an emotional dodgeball. And I didn't talk about this last week, but I definitely want to bring it up this week because there's new developments. How about the guy in Florida who says a dolphin named Gerald took him underwater for 3 days? 3 days. And he comes back and says there's evidence he was underwater. and now the government is investigating the area? Not telling anybody anything. Just dolphins running operations now. At this point, I don't even question it because the ocean has always been suspicious. We've explored like 5% of it. The other 95%, probably Gerald's office. And I'm watching Aquaman right now for the first time. I'm actually seeing some parallels with the guy's story. Kind of scary. And I got a clippy about a 5G tower outside a millionaire's house in Florida. And of course the residents are getting sick and have been since they first put the tower in. Which is wild because normally when you hear millionaire problems, it's like, my pool is too warm. Not the signal is attacking me. Get ready, folks. This sounds like it's going to be the new normal unless we do something to change all of this. And a humorous clippy of a lady who buys a bagged salad. I had to chop that up worse than her salad because she had so many curse words in there. Oh my goodness. But she didn't get any leaves, just the core. That's not a salad. That's the part of the lettuce you apologize to before throwing away. Somewhere a factory worker just went, close enough. And of course, with the decline in packaged goods and products from our stores and the quality of it, my mind immediately jumps back to a couple of months ago where I shared those clippies of the illegal aliens working in the food factories. And I'm thinking if they didn't wash their hands after they went to the bathroom and did all sorts of horrendous things, maybe they weren't so picky with their salad mix either, but I'm not saying it was them. I'm just saying it's a possibility. Laverne and Shirley certainly weren't working that line. I don't even think Lenny and Squiggy could have screwed up that badly. And in Ohio, a 7-ton meteor falls, burns up completely, and then they say it was 7 tons. Well, how do you know that? It's like me burning a pizza and going, yeah, that was 14 pounds before it turned to ash. Scientists out here guessing with confidence. And I got a clippy about the guy who resigned from Trump's cabinet this week or administration. And there's talk from Trump about putting ICE agents in airports because TSA isn't getting paid because of the partial budget shutdown thing. And I'm just sitting here thinking we've reached the point where every headline sounds like it could be a season finale. And I got a clippy from a lady I follow who says Canada might pass a law where if you speak against the government, you could go to jail for 10 years and they take your stuff. Canada. That's the country that apologizes when you bump into them. And now they're like, sorry, you're under arrest. And I got the clippy about the Major General who's connected to UFO stuff and gone missing. And after that one, I just had to close down the apps and get away from the computer. I couldn't do it anymore because at some point your brain just says, yeah, that's enough reality for today. But is it even reality? Did he get kidnapped? Did he go into hiding? What's the deal? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Maybe Gerald took him. One thing I know for sure is this, we're all just trying to survive the same algorithm, and somewhere out there, Palm Beach Pete is driving around in a convertible, trying to explain to people, I'm not that guy, and nobody believes him. And honestly, that might be the most normal story I saw all night. So before we get into the clippies, let's do a shift from noise to signal. Not paranoia, not blind belief, but discernment. This is a 5-minute guided meditation to steady your mind so that you can clearly see without getting pulled in emotionally. It's a discernment meditation for seeing through psyops. Sit or lie down comfortably, let your hands rest loosely, gently close your eyes. For minute 1, settle the mind. Breathe in slowly through your nose, hold it for a moment, and then exhale gently through the mouth. And again, a slow inhale, and then a long exhale. Let your thoughts slow down. Say silently, I do not need to react. I choose to observe. In the second minute, step out of that emotional pull. Bring to mind a confusing or charged story, something that made you feel reactive, suspicious, or overwhelmed, and imagine it's on a screen in front of you, not inside you, not happening to you, just playing. Notice the emotions it tries to trigger: curiosity, fear, anger, urgency. Gently step back from the screen and say silently, emotion is not evidence. Let the charge loosen. For minute 3, activate your inner clarity. Bring your awareness to the center of your chest. Imagine a steady, calm light there. This is your inner compass, not influenced by noise, headlines, or manipulation. With each breath, let that light grow stronger. Ask quietly, is this information trying to inform me or move me? Not forcing an answer, just noticing. Truth feels steady. Manipulation feels urgent, chaotic, or heavy. Let your body show you the difference. For the 4th minute, separate your signal from static. Imagine 2 currents in front of you. One is clear, calm, and grounded. One is loud, scattered, and emotionally charged. Let the story you're questioning drift between them. Watch which current it aligns with. No judgment, just observation. And silently say, I see what is presented. I choose what I accept. And then for the 5th minute, anchor in your sovereignty. Return to your breath, feel your body, your weight, your presence. You are not here to believe everything. You are not here to reject everything. You are here to discern. Silently affirm, I remain calm in uncertainty. I do not give my energy to confusion. And clarity comes when I am steady. Take one deep breath in, slow exhale, and gently open your eyes. What this actually does is it's not about figuring out if something is true or false instantly. It's about not getting emotionally hijacked. Because once your emotion spikes, your discernment drops. And that's where people get pulled. You don't need all the answers. You just need to stay clear enough to not get played. All right, let's get into the clippies. I'm going to start out with one from the original NATEC, with a girl explaining her logic as to what she believes is her sex.
Stop asking me if I'm a man or a woman, because if my dad is a man and my mom's a woman, that would mean that I'm mixed.
So that's really scary to me. But anyway, moving on. I want to share this one. I don't know if it works or not. I haven't tried it, but I'm seriously thinking about it. From Cultivate, Elevate, how to remove the Wi-Fi from your home.
So many people ask how to get rid of Wi-Fi. So what you're going to do, you're going to get an Ethernet cord and a USB adapter like that. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to log into your router. So you're going to go to the back of the box, you're going to find an IP on there, you're going to log into your router on whatever device you have, and then you're going to find all these wireless settings. So you have guest Wi-Fi, which you're going to turn off 2.4, 5 gigahertz. You're also going to turn off all your regular wireless. Make sure all this is turned off. Now you're going to take that Ethernet cord that you bought and you're going to stick it into the back of your router. And then next what you're going to do is you're going to take the other side of the Ethernet cord with the adapter, stick it right into your computer, and you're going to wait for it. And in about a second, you got the internet without Wi-Fi. Now someone's going to ask, well, why did you get rid of Wi-Fi? Well, microwave sickness, headaches, dizziness, sleep issues, insomnia, fatigue, nausea, heart palpitations, memory loss, ringing of the ears, skin rashes, muscle and joint pain, leg and root pain, tingling, irritability, numbness, nosebleeds, depression, and anxiety. Doesn't sound too safe. And just for the record, my phone's on airplane mode right now, and see how everything's off with an Ethernet cord? You can do it for your phones too. And if you got 5G, turn it to 4G or airplane mode. And there'll always be those muppets who just say it's all safe, but the U.S. Navy did 2,000 studies in 1971 on the dangers of wireless technology. So it's been known. And here's what they found: depression, impotence, anxiety, lack of concentration, dizziness, sleepiness, insomnia, irritability, chest pain, and tremors. Probably a good idea to have wires. And last but not least, here's a $13 book that's 600 pages long on the topic. Things to look into.
So that seems like a good lead-in to our conspiracy theory time, with the first clip being about 5G by Scott Lubick and a double shot of Gerald the Dolphin from Hustle Bitch and Jab Clay.
All right, so I got a homeowner with $1 million house. I knocked on his door. What's your name? Dave. Okay, Dave's enough. 5G small cell. He didn't even know it existed. It says Florida Power and Water owns it. They deny it. Your family's getting headaches? Yeah. Okay, family's getting headaches. And I just pointed out why. Because that antenna is too close to that transformer, and it's weaponized right next to his $1 million home, and they can't figure out. How long you guys been having headaches? Couple months. Well, this just went up a couple months ago. All right, so there you have it. This is the second account. He gave me permission to put it on social, so here we are. What's this neighborhood called?
Palasola Park, I guess.
Palasola Park.
Pompasola.
Pompasola Park, right there.
Hold on a minute.
Oh, right there.
Should you settle down in the sunshine state, you should know of its tangled fate. How the conquistador came to Florida long before it had a name.
Florida man claims to have been kidnapped by dolphins and forced to build an underwater city. The man was found early Monday morning on the side of a beach in Lee County, soaking wet, dehydrated, and confused. When deputies arrived, he was drawing detailed diagrams in the sand. According to the man, a pod of dolphins took him while he was swimming and brought him to a place about 40 feet under the surface. He said they forced him to help build underwater structures. He told deputies the dolphins communicated with him using clicks. He said the group had a leader named Gerald who somehow helped him breathe underwater, possibly by creating an airspace. The man spent 3 days working on what he described as cities, towns, and condo-like structures. When the dolphins were satisfied with his work, they sent him back to the surface and told him they would return for phase 2. Medical staff treated him for dehydration, but found no signs of head injury or mental confusion. Tests showed seawater and marine particles in his lungs, suggesting he had been deep underwater for a long time without typical lung damage. This was unusual and raised questions for doctors. The man holds a master's degree in aerospace engineering and has experience with deep-sea technology, which he says is why the dolphins chose him. Some people think the story is false, but the physical evidence has made others curious.
The government is trying to hide the fact that Gerald the dolphin does exist and did kidnap that man. It's the most insane thing I've ever said. A lot of people from Lee County, Florida are sending me videos of the area where it allegedly happened. And I grew up in Florida, so I understand crazy is crazy because I saw crazy when I lived there, and crazy is crazy. And there are helicopters landing on islands, there are FBI agents, there are a lot of people investigating the situation. I once had a conversation with a manatee, but it didn't try to kidnap me. Now, why would there be government officials investigating a situation if it wasn't real? How many licks does it take till you get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know. Gerald the dolphin is real, and they're getting ready for phase 2. Inquisitive minds just want to know, how are they going to find him for phase 2 unless he goes back to the beach? I need to book a trip to Florida. Not laughing through this entire video was a challenge.
And next up, a double shot from Joe D69 and anonymously enlightening on the Epstein Palm Beach Pete thing.
The medicine man of the Seminole knelt by the sacred flame and cursed the soul of a conquistador and his son and his sons and the young ones of the Florida man. Florida man.
The individual that allegedly resembles Jeffrey Epstein driving a convertible has been spotted once again, this time by a tour bus. But this time there's a twist. When he notices that he's being recorded, he covers his face. If you haven't seen this viral video, take a look at this. Look carefully. He notices he's being recorded and covers his face. The caption, "Bro looks familiar." I've gone ahead and paused the video and cropped a screenshot of the individual driving the convertible. Who does this individual look like to you? This is the screenshot from the first viral video of the individual driving in South Florida. So take one more look at the video and tell me what you think.
Look at the palm trees. Feel this heat. Look at this tan. Hey, who needs Miami?
Look. Covers his face and proceeds to speed away. This is the second sighting within a week of the same individual driving a convertible, but this time noticing the camera and covering his face. We also had over the weekend a Jeffrey Epstein join TikTok and get 1.1 million followers in less than 24 hours after that video appeared. It was also verified. TikTok has since banned this account, but the question still remains, how did it get verified? So once again, this video has not been authenticated by anyone. The individual does resemble one Jeffrey Epstein. What are your thoughts on this latest video that has surfaced with the so-called gentleman driving the convertible that looks just like you-know-who?
Epstein, huh? Juan Luis Pedro Felipe de Huevos Epstein. From San Juan. Your mother's Puerto Rican? No, my father. My mother's name is Biberman.
The system just ran a live exercise on your perception, and most of the world walked right into the trap. They're calling him Palm Beach Pete, and they want you to laugh, share the video, and then go back to sleep. But look at the signatures the system is using for this psyop, because this isn't a coincidence, but it's mimetic camouflage. Pete, the supposed Epstein look-alike, claims to be a wealthy fashion entrepreneur and real estate mogul, but in the wealthy elite's playground of Palm Beach, men of that stature leave a massive digital shadow, years of SEC filings, property deeds, and board memberships. Yet, Pete has no history, no LinkedIn trail, no business archives, no digital footprint before the January 2026 Epstein file dump. He is a born digital persona, a freshly minted legend created to plug a hole in the narrative. But don't listen to the official debunking, instead trust your eyes. Because when you overlay the facial signatures, the truth starts screaming. Like the tragus and helix structure of the ears, that are as unique as a fingerprint, match the 2019 Epstein profile perfectly. The specific mandibular angle and silver follicular pattern around the jawline are identical. But the response video of Pete uses high-key lighting to wash out the anchor points where real-time AI overlays often fail. But why now? Because the 3 million pages released in January were starting to burn the hands of the elites. They needed a shiny object, and by pushing Pete into millions of views, they've built a narrative firewall. Now, if the real Epstein is spotted on a Florida street, the public won't call for arrest. Instead, they'll ask for a selfie with that Pete guy. They've turned a high-value target into a joke so he can move among the civilians with total immunity. The system didn't debunk a sighting, they patented an illusion. Stop looking at the distraction, and start looking at the man behind it. We do not forgive, we do not forget. Anonymously enlightening out.
The opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the host and possibly her pets, who occasionally walk across the keyboard, jingle their collars, drink some water when they can't steal mom's coffee, growl while wrestling with their siblings, and even snore at high volumes when they feel slighted and are bored. Any resemblance to actual facts is purely coincidental, and this show is solely for entertainment purposes only. Wink, wink, nod, nod. While every effort has been made to ensure accuracy, sometimes our brains run on coffee and wishful thinking, and possibly a conspiracy theory or two. This broadcast may contain traces of sarcasm, bad puns, and music to make you dance. Side effects may include spontaneous laughter, eyebrow raises, and the uncontrollable urge to sing along. Listen responsibly.
Now a double shot from Tea Time with Tej and Raising a Revolution.
According to NASA, that was a 7-ton meteor that fell in northern Ohio and created a sonic boom yesterday. Kind of looks like it was a meteor on the video. I'm not going to say it was something else. I am a little shocked that they knew it was 7 tons, though. It looked like it burned up in the video I saw. Looks like mainstream media has finally started talking about missing General William McCaslin. Doesn't really seem to be any new information that I haven't already talked about. So Newsweek reports that McCaslin was described as a key UFO advisor to Tom DeLonge. I guess there had been some emails leaked from John Podesta that mentioned Tom DeLonge talking to William McCaslin, and that, according to McCaslin, was in charge of the Roswell wreckage at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. There's also a UFO sighting in Texas allegedly yesterday. Is actual disclosure getting ready to happen? Guess we'll find out soon, huh? You should follow me because I'm awesome. It's been tea time. Teach.
Illegally entering a country doesn't make you an immigrant. Any more than breaking into a house makes you a part of the family.
Anybody want coffee? I'm making coffee!
Next up, because we've been sharing some manifestation techniques off and on lately, from Manifestation Frequency 2, here's an old school technique. Give it a try when you get a minute and see how it works for you.
If you will say before you go to sleep, I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me tomorrow. And if you'll say when you get up in the morning, I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me today. And if all day long you say, I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me, you'll find that as you go to sleep the next night, and try this today, it's a very powerful exercise. It sounds a little bit corny, but it's a very powerful exercise. If you'll try it, you'll find that when you go to sleep, you will not be able to think of all the wonderful things that happen to you. You'll just be surprised that your parking spaces will open up and friends will call and you'll get checks in the mail. Just your life will be a series of really positive, happy experiences. So always expect the best. I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me today, and by the inexorability of a law of nature, it's going to happen to you. I can assure you it's happened to thousands and thousands and thousands of our graduates who will literally astonish you the effect of this corny little exercise.
Next up, a triple shot from Dangerous Ones, which is actually a liberal site, but this clippy has some truth to it, and I think it's important. Calliope 813 and Renola Real Estate.
It's a MAGA family feud. A major crack just opened up inside of Trump's MAGA movement, and it's all over the war in Iran. Joe Kent, a Trump-appointed counterterrorism official and longtime MAGA loyalist, resigned this week, saying that he can't in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. That statement is setting off a full-blown civil war in MAGA world. Conservative influencer Tim Pool called it the shattering of the MAGA coalition, warning that even Trump saying, I am MAGA, can't fix the growing divide. Fancy that. Podcaster Sean Ryan and former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene backed Kent, calling him brave for taking a stand. But other Trump diehards went on the attack. Laura Loomer called Kent, and former aide Taylor Budowich called him a crazed egomaniac. The White House defended Trump's decision on Iran, saying that there was strong evidence of an imminent attack. Bottom line, this story isn't just about foreign policy, it's about who owns MAGA now. Is it Trump alone or a movement with its own conscience? Because if Joe Kent's exit tells us anything, the MAGA family feud is just getting started.
I've got to stand tall. You know a man can't crawl. Oh, when he knows you tell lies and he lives and passes by, he's not a man at all.
Somebody needs to explain to the Botox bimbo up in Albany exactly what New York is looking for, because now she's saying that all these people that left, please come back. We need the people with the money to come back. Those people left because they could, because you're the state. You put your foot on our forehead in everything that we want to do. We want to have a gas stove. No, you can't have a gas stove. We want to go to Manhattan. No, you can't go to Manhattan for multiple reasons. But if you do want to go, you can't drive. Otherwise, you got to pay $9 in this zone and another $2.75 if you're going in this zone. You don't want to drive. You want to take the subway. Well, you got to risk your life. You got to watch people take on the subway and everything else that's going on. Now, on top of all this, you want to implement after 11 o'clock, you got to turn your outside lights off? Are you out of your Ford? Are you seriously that far? I think your Botox is seeping into your brain, okay? Your synapses are not firing correctly, or whatever it's called. You cannot have people. It's not going to fly on Long Island, I'll tell you right now. My security light's staying on. My front porch light's staying on. You want to charge $200 up to $500 and above for subsequent offenses? Absolutely not. Not going to happen.
New York lawmakers want to make it illegal to leave your outdoor lights on after 11 p.m., and homeowners can be fined for it every day. I don't know what I'm reading every day. According to the New York State Senate, a bill called the Dark Skies Protection Act would regulate outdoor lighting on every residential, commercial, industrial, and municipal property in the entire state. If it passes, outdoor lights that do not meet new shielding standards would have to be shut off between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. So that means your floodlights, your porch lights, your driveway lights, your backyard lights, your little string lights, if they're not shielded to the state's new specifications, they have to go dark by 11 p.m. The bill also says that all outdoor lighting fixtures must be shielded by January 1st, 2028. That includes homes, 1 to 4 family dwellings that violated face fines up to $250 for first offense and up to $250 for each continuing violation. Commercial properties face up to $500 first offense and $1,000 after that. The only exception is motion-activated lights that shut off within 15 minutes, and outdoor recreational facilities can keep lights on, wow, thank you, past 11, if the event already started before the cutoff. According to the International Dark Sky Association, 30% of all outdoor lighting in the U.S. is wasted, costing $3.3 billion in lost electricity. All right, I feel like my own electric bill is $3.3 billion every month lately. But apparently this is about, I don't know, safety and other things. I don't know. The bill has been referred to the committee. It's not passed yet, but if it does, it would apply statewide. I don't know. How are you going to tell somebody in Staten Island or Brooklyn, maybe you live on a dicey block or something, or just in general, right? You want to have your front light on, your porch light on. You got to tell them that you got to turn it off? I don't know. This is crazy. New York.
I try to tell the woman, but she don't believe a word I say.
Dave? Hey, who turned out the lights?
Oh, wasn't that fine?
I can't see a ruddy thing.
Dave? Turn around.
Is the power gone? Are we safe here?
Dave, I want you to stay still. Absolutely still.
Next up, we got Trumpy and Ice and Truth Seeker 01011.
Posting this on True Social, quote, if the radical left Democrats don't immediately sign an agreement to let our country, in particular our airports, be free and safe again, I will move our brilliant and patriotic ICE agents to the airports where they will do security like no one has ever seen before, including the immediate arrest of all illegal immigrants who have come into our country, with heavy emphasis on those from Somalia who have totally destroyed, with the approval of a corrupt governor, attorney general, and Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, the once great state of Minnesota. I look forward to seeing ICE in action at our airports, make America great again. And that comes, as we know, ICE is fully funded for a few years. So he does have the power to do this. And I guess the question remains, does Chuck Schumer continue this and President Trump make good on?
Hey, so I'm actually scared of going back to Canada if Bill C-9 goes through. I'm not even kidding. Like, those of you who don't know what Bill C-9 is, Canada's getting ready to pass a free speech law where you can't talk against the government, or you get up to 10 years in prison and they can take away whatever they want from you, including your internet, your house, and all of that stuff. Like, there's absolutely no provisions in that law to state that the government has to, like, stop a cap at how far they can go to silence you. And then I start seeing ads by the government agencies of Canada telling you to think before you post, to know the difference between AI, like we're a bunch of dummies. I'm going to show you this.
Only trust photos and videos from reliable sources. Think before you share.
First of all, I will not think before I share. I will willy-nilly the crap out of it like I have my entire life. Because YOLO, I like to live on the edge like that. Because I'm a bad, apparently, according to the Canadian government. I've never broken the law. I have like 5 speeding tickets my entire life. I've always paid my taxes. I've obeyed every rule and all of that stuff, but somehow calling the government of Canada a bunch of will land you 10 years in jail. Re-education camp is going to be so lit. You guys have never been to summer camp. I'm kind of glad now, seeing of all the Epstein files and creepy people that hang around with kids in summer camps. But I have a feeling, like, minus that, that's what summer camp's going to be like, and that's what a re-education camp's going to be like. And I have a feeling it's going to be like a party, dudes, because it's going to be a bunch of us, like, who don't want to get in line and go with the agenda. So we can actually increase the blood pressure of all of the people that work in re-education camps. I'm just kind of worried about the social credit score. Do you think they're going to start us all off at 0, or do you think they're going to backtrack by looking at our social media? Because then I think I'm going to be at like a -1,000. But yeah, anyway, so Canada is getting ready to put this through, and I've said a lot about the government. So, refugee status again, I guess? Because Canada definitely isn't a communist country.
Next up, a double shot of salad and salad dressing from Dangerous Ones and Riley Lemon. The first clip is heavily edited due to the curse words.
She bought some broccoli. She brought it home.
Shrinkflation. 90% of my salad was bones. Look at this. That's just the taint. That's iceberg taint that I had to pick out. Got about a quarter cup of actual lettuce. Fresh Express. Who's your CEO? I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. You know what? Sometimes you interact with somebody and you can just tell. You're like, I can tell you've never not once been hit in your mouth. And you ought to admit, because it's a character building event. And we don't do dump like this no more. And this is not a threat. Don't put me on a list or anything. I'm just saying,
They sold me the toe bones of all the lettuce. Really, on you, salad's not that hard to prepare, and if you just make your own salad, you can have your own. Life has been riding me so. If a bagged salad makes being alive 1% more tolerable, I'm going to purchase a bagged salad. And I would like for said bag salad to contain lettuce. Something like that to my face. Say that to my face.
Chopping broccoli. Chopping broccoli. Chopping broccoli. Chopping broccoli. Chopping broccoli.
Oh, do you mind passing the ranch?
Yeah, no problem. It's full of crap, 25 ingredients, you don't even know what the names of them are. Probably shouldn't be eating it at all. Probably should just throw it away. Made by the cabal, made to poison you. You'll go to the doctor and you'll die. Okay.
Thanks.
Next up, a promo to allow you time to go get a pen and pencil, because after that, the recipe from Benjamin's Kitchen. The entry music, sometimes my halftime music, and the ending music are all provided by my good buddy Pat Carr, a wonderful original musician from Louisiana, now residing in Colorado. You can check him out at http://www.itunes.com/Pat Carr. Pat's at AllMusic, Apple Music, YouTube, SoundClick, Spotify, Google Play, iTunes. He is all over the place. Please check him out, support his music, and tell him Maggie sent you.
Foods as a dad, I don't buy at the grocery store. Canned black beans. Let me show you why. When money's tight and I'm standing at the grocery store, every choice matters. I get it. Black beans in a can look easy, but you're paying $1.50 for water, metal, and convenience. So for my family of 5, I buy dry beans. 1 cup of dry black beans will only cost me 50 cents. It's easy. I sort them, make sure there's no stones or bad beans. If I got time, I soak them overnight. But let's be realistic. How many of us are that productive? Kind of like what Smokey said on the movie Friday. You ain't got to lie to kick it. I'm not thinking about beans the day before. So I got a little trick up my sleeve, and I'll show you in a moment. So this is the quick boil method. You're going to count each bean one at a time. I'm just kidding. You're going to dump them all in like that. Cover with Arizona water. Now listen here, Ryan. You bring it to your burner. You put it on high heat. The goal is to bring it to a boil. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. There's going to be someone by the name of Greg who's going to say, Ben, I got something better. He's going to try to show me up. Oh, I do an Instant Pot and I don't have to do this. Good for you, Greg. I don't have an Instant Pot. Now listen, Xavier. This is the most important part. Grab your pen and paper. It's boiling. Turn off the heat. Grab your lid. That's it. And the next step is, hey, Alexa, set a 1-hour timer.
1-hour timer started.
Hours up. Drain them. Add them back into the pots. Try to get them all in the pot, too. Then all you're going to do, to the pot of beans, get some of that Arizona water. Next, you're going to raid your pantry for your spices. You're going to customize it to fit the taste you like. I'm going to show you what I do. I'll do onion powder, cumin, garlic powder, Mexican oregano, bay leaf. These next 2 steps is completely optional. I'm going to add chili de árbol and ancho. I like to add that additional flavor. Now, there's going to be someone by the name of Juanito who's going to say, my abuelita, my nana, my grandma says that you must use bacon or ham hock and etc. to add that smoky flavor. That's a nice touch, but guess what? I'm not your abuelita. Also, it's Lent season right now, so what I'm using to add additional smoke flavor is smoked paprika. All you're going to do next is cook until tender. Beans are nice and tender. It's been a few hours. Take out the chilies, or you can keep them in. Your choice, matter of preference. This is the time you're going to salt your beans. I recommend salting towards the end because when the liquid reduces, the salt increases in flavor and it can get really salty. I'm actually going to be using Casa de Abuela's Sonoran all-purpose spice. They're a great local company. It's actually the grandmother's recipe. Also, make sure you check the captions. There's a discount code there for you if you want to use it. So 1 cup of dry black bean gives me over 2 cans of cooked beans. So yes, canned is convenient, but it is more expensive. So when money's tight, you got to make the best choice for you and your loved ones. In my house, for my family of 5, we don't shop or buy stuff based off convenience. We buy based off what's affordable and lasts our family longer. Do black beans look purple to you?
So that recipe wasn't a meal or a dessert, but it was something that I feel is useful because I was talking to someone the other day that didn't know how to soak and use bagged beans. They'd only used canned beans before. And as Benjamin says, the bagged beans are a lot more economical. Plus, if you grow your own beans in a garden, what I do is I store them in mason jars. in my pantry. They're relatively easy to grow, and a pack of seeds is really cheap. And I just store them for when I need them and then soak them to cook for meals. And they're fresh. I know where they came from, so that's always a plus. I buy organic only, so I know what's in them. Bags are a lot easier to store than cans also. They lay flat and you can just stack them up in your cupboard or in a big garbage bag or those metallic bags that they sell for food preservation. And if you do it that way inside of a big plastic airtight food grade bucket, they'll last for 10 to 15 years. So it's a great thing to have aside for an emergency situation, whether it be a storm or power outage. And if you're feeling creative and have little kids or grandkids around, beans make great craft items. So does macaroni. So if you find some in your cupboard that's outdated, don't throw it out. Give the kids a paper plate and maybe some sparkles and some glue and let them make shapes, flowers and things on the plates. Or you can take an empty toilet paper cardboard roll or a paper towel cardboard roll and tape the ends with some duct or masking tape. Drop some beans or a macaroni inside and you have an instant rattle or maraca. If you don't have any kids at home, donate them to your local school's art class. I'm sure they'll make great use of them. Plus, an old trick that I do all the time is if you have chickens, you boil the pasta and soak and then cook up the beans and mix it together. I put them in gallon freezer bags and freeze them. And if your chickens stop laying and need variety in the winter, you can feed that to them and they absolutely devour them. And they get excited. Pretty much every time mine have stopped, I've given them a scoop or two of that with their regular food and they come back online in a day or two. Plus anything like that, table scraps that you can give them, potato peels, old fruit, you name it. Just Google it to make sure it's safe for them first, depending on what it is. Will save you some money on the cracked corn and feed. You can also throw in a scoop every once in a while of natural bird seed, the wild bird food with the tiny little round pellets. It's an awesome treat for them. They love it. Don't forget to save and crush your eggshells too, because that is an excellent garden fertilizer, and also your old coffee grinds. There's very little that has to go in the garbage pail, especially when you have chickens and birds or pigs or goats. You can save your cardboard egg containers too and cut the tops off, throw some dirt in each of the 12 holes, and you can plant your vegetable and flower seeds in those to start them. Then once they sprout and you get them as tall as you want, cut them apart and you plant them right in the ground in the cardboard, and that's biodegradable. It'll save you a lot of money on plastic containers. Empty plastic and glass jars are awesome for storing things. Just clean them well and soak off the labels, and you can house anything in there from screws and nuts and bolts to dry seeds to household pantry staples. I've actually known some people who have saved their old jelly jars from the stores and recanned their jelly in them. I'm not fond of that idea because I like the old-fashioned screw seals. And grandmas and great-grandmas everywhere have saved the ones with the little handles on them and used them for actual drinking glasses. You can repurpose just about anything and save yourself and your family some money. Italians are famous for saving the little plastic grocery bags and the little empty produce bags and even Ziploc bags, which is a perfect segue into the Gen X segment. Here's a double shot of NJ Jessica.
On today's episode of What My Mother Brought to My House, okay, this is a random bag that I found. I had no clue that she brought it here. No clue that she brought it here. Let's check it out. Let's see what's inside. First up, we got another piece of mail. We got another piece of mail from the diocese. Okay, Ma? How many years am I telling you? If I'm getting mail to your house, throw it out, Ma. I don't want it. I don't even want the mail from me at my own house, okay? Let alone the mail that keeps coming to your house. Next up, this had to be a mistake, okay? She don't give bags like this away. This had to be a mistake. She must have not realized that this bag that she could reuse for something, she must have not realized it was in there. Ma, I'm going to save this. I'm giving it back to you. Next up, okay? We got a reused Ziploc, okay? I could tell this has been used thousands of times, all right? That's fine. We all do it. We got an assortment of TD Bank lollipops. Enough with the TD Bank lollipops, okay? Enough with them. And we got some lifesavers in there. We're done with the TD Bank lollipops, Ma. Next up, a Ziploc of Oreos. A Ziploc of Oreos she brought over. All right? I know they're for the kids, Ma. They're gonna love it, okay? Ziploc of Oreos. I don't know what was happening at her house. Maybe she got the family pack, the jumbo size. She wanted to share them with us? I don't know. Thank you, Ma. We got 2 things left, okay? Next up. Cutter. All family insect repellent. It's a fresh bottle. Nice and full. Thank you, Ma. And last but not least, she brought over 3 packs of Splenda to put in her collection here. 3 packs of Splenda, Ma. I'll be sure to put it in your Ziploc of all the sugar packets that you have here. This message is for my family and friends, okay? Can we stop texting? Can we agree to stop texting? Can we go back to calling? Okay? We have been texting for 20-something years, okay? But people have been calling for a lifetime, all right? Can we go back to the phone calls? Give me a call. If I'm not available, I'll call you back. If you're not available, all right, we'll play phone tag. I no longer have the mental capacity to continue to text people. I can't. I'm not doing it. I cannot do it. I can't do it. 9 out of 10 times, I'm opening up the text message. I'm reading it and I'm putting my phone down. Because in the moment that I am reading your message, I can't even respond to you. All right? So what are we doing now? Text tag? Texting tag? Tag text? Stop texting me. If you want to talk, call me. Please.
So I coupled up the Gen X comedy with Italian comedy as well, because last week was St. Joseph's Day. Not just St. Patrick's Day, but St. Joseph's Day was in there too. That was Thursday the 19th. It gets lost in the shuffle of St. Patrick's Day sometimes, but there's actually a lot of places I know of that combine the two, and they do like Italian Irish dances and parties. And if you've never had or made a St. Joseph's Day pastry, you're really missing out. I used to make them every single year. For an extra shot of funny, let's listen to Andrea's Cannoli Love.
Hello.
Dad.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm downstairs. Where are you?
I made some for you.
What'd you do?
I made some St. Joseph pastries.
Oh my God. I'm gonna issue more to make calls right now. Come right down now.
All right, I'm coming now.
Okay, love you.
Love you too. I'm going in. Going to bring in them St. Joseph's. Dad, how do they look?
They look fantastic. Don't tell your mother, because she's watching my sugar. She's not around. I
heard that.
Oh, God.
Take a bite.
Don't tell your mother. Just beat the hell out of you.
No, she ain't gonna do it. Just eat it.
But how many are you eating?
I ain't here. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. She's going to the doctor with you, not me.
Very good. I need a towel or something.
Ma. Daddy.
She was listening.
Coffee. Anybody want coffee? I'm making coffee. I'm having a cup of coffee.
And here's one from Davey87DP, who's critiquing his parents' lab reports like they did his report cards in school.
Looking at my parents' lab reports like they looked at my report cards. Yeah, now I understand the energy. I'm sitting there reading numbers I don't fully understand, but I'm judging. I'm judging very, very hard. This could be better. This could be way better. And it's like, yeah, better based on what? I don't know, but the tone is there. The tone I learned from them is there. I'm asking questions like I have authority. Like, well, why is this so high? As if I ever understood cholesterol in my life. Like every Italian has high cholesterol. Like, does that even mean anything? I don't know. But they used to do the same thing to me. So now it's my turn. They didn't understand the subject whatsoever, the subject that they were critiquing me for. But the disappointment was nevertheless very clear. You could have done better. You could have done better. Better how? We have no family history of being good at math. So, yeah, now it's my turn to pretend I understand results and to express concern. Full circle.
The last clip that I have to share for you this evening is from Ashley Inc., and it's a story that was given to her about a listener, so I guess she does a podcast or something, telling her that she used to date a movie star that claims he's 400 years old. In light of all the spiritual stuff that's going on now, I thought it would be a good one to play and have you see what you think. We've been hearing stories for years about the cloning that supposedly goes on and the rituals in which some of these famous people's souls are put into other people's bodies or born into other children. And then also the conspiracy theory that a lot of these actors are from several hundred years ago and other famous people like the royalty look remarkably like famous people from the past. We've talked about this before on the show, but if you haven't gone down this rabbit hole yet, just YouTube it. Actors that look like old actors and things like that. There's some really cool videos out there, and their facial features are so identical that in some of the videos they use the computer to overlay like the current actor's face on an old-time person's picture, and they match.
While we're on the topic of Hollyweird, do I have a story for you? Okay, this is coming from a woman who's claiming to be the side piece of an actor who is publicly in a relationship, but he's telling her that it's not a real relationship and it's just for his public-facing persona. He's also telling her that he's 400 years old and is immortal. Before I get into the story, though, I have to read you a legal disclaimer from my lawyer. This story, as well as all other stories shared on Spooky Scary Storytime, was submitted by a listener and is being shared for storytelling and entertainment purposes only. Names and identifying details have been altered or omitted. There is no way to verify the claims made in this story, and they should be taken as personal experience, not fact. This content does not reflect the views or beliefs of the creator, aka me. Any resemblance to real individuals is purely coincidental and is not intended as statement of fact. Oh, now that all that said, this woman writes me, she goes, hey, I have been seeing this actor since 2022. I have proof. Here's proof. I mean, she's in her mid to late 20s. He's significantly older. He is also single at the time that they are meeting, and they're talking, hanging out all the time, but he's telling her that he can't be in a public relationship with her because he's in a conservatorship. Over the next couple years, they grow close. They're still talking all the time. They're still seeing each other all the time. He ends up telling her that he's falling in love with her. He also reveals personal details about himself, like that he struggles with depression and bipolar disorder. He is honest with her about his relationships. He tells her that he's been hooking up off the record with an A-list singer, we'll say. And said A-list singer is also a lot younger than him. And so the person who sent this story says, oh, I didn't know that she was interested in people like you. I never saw her date anybody like you. And he says, well, she's actually not the age that she says she is. She's a lot older. This conversation is sort of where her relationship with him gets a little bit creepy because he starts telling her all sorts of things like, well, you know, a lot of people like me are not really our real ages like we say that we are. We're a lot older. I'm 400 years old. I've actually been a few other people in my life. As for example, I have been an old country singer that is no longer with us. And she says, well, that doesn't make sense because he was alive up until X year when you were also alive. And he says, yeah, well, in order to act human, we still have to play different roles. We have to kill off certain characters. At this point, she thinks he's messing with her. So she goes, so you're telling me you're not this person, you're telling me that you're this country singer? And he says, well, I'm kind of both in one, but I've also been other people. And he names another old actor who is no longer with us. And he says, well, I'm also this person and this person who are currently still alive. And she says, well, that doesn't make sense because you have been in movies with this person and this person. He says, yeah, one of them was me and the other one was a clone. At this point, she's hooked. She wants to know more, right? Because she's like, what is this guy going to reveal to me, whether he's lying to me or not, right? But she's like, I'm not really following. And he says, well, I can essentially shapeshift. I can become more than one person, but other people have to stand in for those roles. She goes, well, can you prove it? He goes, how would I prove it to you? And she goes, okay, fair enough. And they stop talking for the night. At this point, they're not together. They are in their respective homes across the country from each other. This is where it gets weird, okay? Because later he messages her and he says, hey, I figured out a way that I can prove it to you. And she says, okay, how are you going to prove it to me? And he says, I will send you a lizard. Go to your back door. And she walks to her back door, not thinking he's going to send her a lizard. And there is a big fat lizard on her back patio step. I don't know where she lives. I don't know if a lizard being on her porch is normal. I don't know if he had her address even. I don't know if he's ever been to her house, okay? But she goes in to get her phone. She comes back out. She's watching the lizard. The lizard runs off the porch and goes like underneath her house. And he texts her and he says, do you believe me now? Texts him back. She said, that could have been a coincidence. And he texts her back and he said, then how would I know that you're wearing a blue and white daisy pattern shirt with your hair half up in a ponytail? That freaked her out, obviously. So she stops texting him as much. She's like, I think I'm just going to go to bed. He's blowing up her phone. He's saying, don't worry about it. I didn't mean to freak you out. I just wanted to find a way to prove it to you. Also, I come to your house sometimes and I protect you while you're sleeping. She reads this message. All of the hair on her body stands up because she had not told him that about a week before this incident, she was in bed one night. Her dog was sleeping on the bed with her, and she said that she was awoken to the sound of what sounded like somebody walking around her room. Opened her eyes and looked around her room but didn't see anybody, thought she was just imagining it, maybe dreaming, rolled over, heard her dog start growling, and then swore that she felt somebody tuck her hair behind her ear. She doesn't tell him this. She doesn't text him back, but he texts her again, and he says, I actually really love you. I don't want to scare you. I want you to know that I'm protecting you from things that are evil. I'm not evil. I'm just what I am. Little more time goes on. She's slowed down on how much she's talking to him. Obviously, she's still kind of talking to him. Hasn't seen him in a minute. He's still trying to talk to her any chance he can. She's kind of keeping him at an arm's length, though. But then it comes out that he is in a public relationship. And so she's like, that's weird. You didn't tell me you were in a relationship. And she starts to call him out on it. And he says, that's not really a real relationship. It was essentially a PR move because there have been some other headlines about him coming out, and I can't really say much more than that. This new relationship is essentially to distract people from those headlines. He said, I don't know if he's a narcissist who is lying to me and just seeing what he can get away with telling me and what I'll believe, or I don't know if there's any truth to this, but he also tells her that the whole idea of celebrities having clones, they do, but it's not because they've been cloned. It's just that they use them essentially as body doubles. Way to split souls. So she's still talking to him as far as I know. Make of this what you will. And can't prove any of this, can't say that any of this is factual. This is just a place to share stories.
So that's my show for tonight, folks. Hope you had as much fun as I did. Please like, share, and subscribe on my shows. Share with other people so that they can enjoy them as well. Thank you all so very much for listening. Also, support the networks and check out the other shows that are on there. You might find something else that you can enjoy. And remember to reach out to me at Maggie, MAGGIE_heart, HEART @outlook.com for all your physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional needs. Good night, everybody.